Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to focus my attention on this one part of the recent Excel assignment we had in CIS 120. So I've got a video going over a solution for all parts, but I'm doing my grading now, and I notice most students are doing this particular exercise showing the woman, the investor, investing at the beginning of the year as opposed to the end of the year like I did on my original video. So I want to tweak this a bit so I can show them both. Obviously, investing at the beginning of the year is going to have a different impact because you're going to have more compounding, and it's a nice way to go. And since most students seem to be calculating it that way, I wanted to make sure we're kind of all on the same page. All right, so this is actually a student file and no identifying information on there. Cool. And yeah, they calculated this properly. And we know they're calculating the returns for a full year because we can see for the first investment year for this first person, Sarah, we can see, okay, so she invests $2,400 at the beginning of the first year for her, and then by the end of the year, she's gotten $2,640, which is a 10% increase over that. Fantastic. The way I did mine in the other video was I said, okay, well, she's investing at the end of the year, so the balance at the end of the year for that first year is $2,400, and then we're going to add going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tweak this formula, or I'm actually going to tweak this sheet a little bit, and we'll say this is Sarah beginning of year investment, and then we'll just have a end of year investment over here, and we'll see what the impact is going to be. Balance. Now this formula is accurate, so let's see this. So the student did here, we'll just look at one right down here. So we can see that I'm looking up at the formula bar. In fact, I'll just double click on this so we can look at it this way. So they're taking H22, which was the previous year's balance, plus G23, which is the current year's investment. Cool. That all makes sense. Plus, they're adding on the sum of those things, the previous balance plus the current year investment, and multiplying that by 10%. Perfectly accurate. So previous balance plus the current year investment plus 10% of the sum of those two things. So definitely still accurate. So let's see. In fact, I'm going to write my formula right in here, and then I can autofill it up just to see the difference. My deal is, okay, if they're investing this $2,400 at the end of the year, then the balance at the end of the year is going to be equal to just that investment. That's pretty boring. Already their plan looks better, right? Okay, and now we get to the next year. The next year, I'm taking the previous balance times 1 plus, and let's see, they have the 10% up here, which is nice, so J10. Make that absolute. There we go. So that's going to give me the previous balance times 10 or times 1.10%, which is going to give me that increase. Cool. However, I also need to add in the investment for that year. And that gets me to 50/40. So there we go. So already they're making $500 extra by that second year just by investing at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. But otherwise, that's pretty accurate, or it is accurate. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take this formula, and I'm going to autofill it up. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the very top since my formula refers to cells above the current formula. I'll just go to the second there, and that all makes sense. And of course, that first one can just be equal to the balance. That looks good. And now all of these formulas are the same, so I should just be able to take them all and autofill down. Go all the way down there. I'm going to copy the formatting the student used. And there we go. So we have two accurate scenarios. However, since in this scenario, the investor is investing at the beginning of the year, they're getting an extra year of compounding, not just in that first year, but of course then they're getting compounding on those greater numbers every single year. So even though this person is investing the same amount per year, they are definitely going to end up with more than the person that invests at the end of the year. Equals, now that's the beginning of the year, so we'll do the end of the year, so that's just going to be the same as the investment. Cool. Equals previous investment times 1 plus the rate, make that absolute, plus whatever that current year investment is. All right, that all looks good, and then we'll just autofill this down. Oops, I went into some merged cells. He's got a merged cell down there. So let's see, I'm going to break the merging, and then I'll just select that again and autofill it all the way down. Cool. And we'll format that. So regardless if you invest at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, it's always going to be better if you can start earlier rather than start later. But now we can kind of make those comparisons of the benefit of investing and just getting that extra compounding. Cool. So thanks for hanging out with me here and looking at this slightly different way to do the calculation for this part of our assignment. Take care.